I didn't plan on making this video today. So I'm just gonna check my camera. But I didn't plan on making this video today. I was just say to pretty much break it down. I was on a very, 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 very long vacation in Cancun, Mexico. But the Buffalo Bills got me back on this channel, and I would say if you look just on the record only, I would say that maybe it's a good thing, but also I just can't. This team is not good. This team is just not that good this season. I think that we were spoiled as Bills fans from last season going into this season. Because last season it was a quote unquote down season, and it was Josh Allen's best season. It was by far the Bills' most successful season in years. And we were very spoiled by that. With the roster construction, with overlooking Sean McDermott's playoff blunders, overlooking Brandon Beane's decision making in the front office, overlooking the offensive coordinator, Joe Brady, with this decision making, with play calls, ignoring Bobby Babbitt's defensive play calls, ignoring that. Where it's really being showcased this season, and it needs to take a notice. This Bills team is not good this season. I don't care what the record says. Right now, they are sitting 6th in the AFC right now. They're second in their division. And yeah, they may be 6-3, but the quality of some of those wins is not that impressive. The Baltimore game, I was at that game. One of the greatest games of all time I've ever seen. My issue with that game is that we gave up 40 points. 40 points. And we were down 15 for pretty much majority of the game. The Ravens are currently 4-5 in the season. And yeah, you could say, it comes down to injuries. But also, they were 1-3 before Lamar Jackson went down with his injury. So that team was not as good as we all thought they were defensively. And the Bills, they caught a break even though they gave up 40 points that game. The Jets game, well, that was a pretty good game. But also the Jets are arguably the worst team in the league. The Dolphins game, the very first Dolphins game, that was not that great. I think it was a mediocre performance for this team. Defensively, it was very uninspiring. Offensively, this was not the explosive offensive game plan I've seen from them this season like I saw last season, man. The Saints game, the very first game where turnovers really started happening with this team, specifically Josh Allen turnovers, and that was not impressive because the Saints are arguably the worst team in the league. Embarrassing. Then you go into the Patriots game. Week 5, Patriots game. This was the breakout game for the New England Patriots because right now these guys are sitting 2 games above us in the AFC East. This is the first time, we could say 2023, the Miami Dolphins were the same thing, but this Patriots team is a lot better. Let me get that out of the way. This Patriots team is a lot better than that Miami Dolphins team. They have a culture. They have a great coach. They have a great offensive coordinator. They have one of the best quarterbacks in this league right now. A top 3 player and candidate MVP right now. And I'm going to make a video on him probably in the next couple of days. That's going to go on in a couple of days. But Drake May is ridiculous this season. And they are 2 games ahead of us. And it's not because the Patriots outplayed us in every aspect. The Patriots, don't get me wrong. Give them credit. Give them credit this season. But it's not like they're beating good team after good team after good team consistently. Yeah, they're beating us. They're beating Tampa. Those are impressive. But the Bills beat themselves this game. And it's just the lack of effort. The lack of wanting to be in the game. Like, this team is just not interested in playing football this season. Josh Allen, I don't know what's going on in his personal life. I don't need to know what's going on in his personal life. But ever since he got married, he's just not been that gunslinger approach fun quarterback like he was the previous years. He's very, 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 very passive this season. And I don't know if that's a bad thing on his end, personally. And yeah, it's good to get married in your life. Like, that changes your life as a whole. But it sucks that he has a different approach to his mindset nowadays compared to what he had back then, where he's just not as fun to watch as he was back then. He's still really fun. He's still top 5 most fun quarterback to watch in the league. He's still my favorite quarterback in the league. My problem is that he's not really taking this serious compared to what he was back then. And it kind of sucks because, you as a Josh Allen fan, you want to acknowledge what he does super well. And he does a lot of things way better now than he does back then. I will say this game, the turnovers he had was not his fault. The first one, the interception, that was not his fault. It was in the end zone, don't get me wrong. But if someone on this team can get a damn separation, then yeah, that's an easy touchdown to get. And he was exhausted from literally trying to scramble to get a receiver open, to find a receiver open, to just create time to get a receiver open by scrambling on a 3rd and 16 to get a receiver open. And that leads to my biggest issue. The receivers absolutely suck on this team. They're just not great. They're bottom tier receivers. From receiver 1 to 5, they are bottom tier receivers. Khalil Shakir is fine. He can't get any more than 5 yards from a screen pass, though. He also can't create separation like that. Joshua Palmer is injury prone. He's currently been out for the last few games. And he's been decent, I guess, from the games he played. He started off the season very slow. Curtis Samuel is not good. We should have traded him a long time ago. Elijah Moore is not good. There's a reason why the Browns have won him back. He's just not that good. Tyrell Shavers, I'm glad he's on the team. I really like him. But he's not the most ideal wide receiver you want to have on a championship team. Keon Coleman is one of the biggest disappointments this season. He's just not that guy. He's really just not that guy. And what's funny, I was so high on him coming into the season. I got a Keon Coleman shirt over a James Cook shirt. And that was me saying I'm very high on Keon Coleman. He's going to take that step this season. And he's been very disappointing. Like, he has been a non-factor since the Ravens game. And I thought I looked right after the Ravens game. But he has just not created separation like I thought he could. He has not gotten to be able to be wide open like I thought he could. The Bills are forcing plays on him where it's just not working. You're not going to draw penalties like you did last season with it. And he's just not that guy anymore. Kincaid is the only legit receiver on this team. But Kincaid gets injured literally every other game. And it sucks because he's by far the best receiver on this team. Josh Allen needs to be better in terms of just his approach to the game, trying to literally throw the ball. His decision making is just not as good as it was last season. I'm not saying it's terrible like 2023, but he needs to get better in that. James Cook is playing very well this season. Like, don't get me wrong, he's been playing very well. My problem is the team does not get him enough touches in the passing game. Like, he is an underrated ball carrier. Get him the ball in the passing game. The running game doesn't always have to be the only thing with James Cook, which he's been phenomenal this season. He's been one of the best running backs this season. But he needs to get going in the pass game. Yeah, man. Joe Brady. It baffles me that this man was on the verge of getting a head coach job. Like, I was baffled by it. Because of one season. To where that season really, really, really was a big help to the front office. Because that season was considered a down season from the start. No expectations going into it. And they get all the way to the AFC Championship game. All the way there. And Josh Allen was the MVP that season. And we were so pro Bills. We were just dismantled. We were all on the Ravens at how they have so much pressure on them. The Bills have no pressure on them. Yet the Bills lost in the AFC Championship game. Now look at this season. Now that teams know that the Bills receivers can't get open like that, they can just game plan to make Josh Allen literally have to scramble every freaking time. Be exhausted in the Miami weather, the very hot Miami weather, and be very fatigued and just throw an interception like that. They'd rather see that than to literally game plan for Josh Allen. Don't get me wrong, teams still game plan for Josh Allen. You have to do that. He's one of the hardest players to game plan for. Even Steve Spagnuolo has said that multiple times. Josh Allen is one of the hardest quarterbacks of all time to game plan for because he's just that good. But he can't be Superman all the time to lead us to wins. That's just not a consistent formula of winning, is to have your quarterback literally be everything to have you win a game. To have your quarterback literally do everything he can to lead you to a touchdown drive against a bad defense. That's what the Miami Dolphins are. Don't get me wrong, they deserve a lot of credit for beating us this game. I'll give them full credit. They outplayed us literally every aspect of the game. But the Bills, man, Joe Brady's a complete joke. Like, he's been pissing me off so much this season. And just his decision making on fourth downs. Like, you have Josh Allen on your team. Does he have PTSD from the AFC Championship game? To where he says, hey, we're not going to run tush-push plays like that anymore. We're just going to run a play-action play on a 4th and 1 every freaking time. And it just does not work. What's up with him? Why are we running the ball too many times in certain scenarios? Why are we giving Josh Allen the gunslinger approach to just, hey, I'm Josh Allen. Let me go scramble for a first down. Let me go, pass to Dalton Kincaid on the first down. Let's get Dalton Kincaid involved. Let's try to get Keon Coleman involved the best way we can against bad teams. Why are we just running with these basic plays over and over again? Why are we making the team look like Josh Allen is literally a Zach Wilson or a Daniel Jones pre the season? Why are we making Josh Allen look like that? He was the MVP last season for a reason. It just does not make sense. Why are you still employed if you continuously run these plays and it's just not effective? Why are we giving this man a break? Why are we doing that? Bobby Babich, you're supposed to be our defensive coordinator. You're supposed to have that defensive connection with Sean McDermott back in Carolina. You're supposed to have that connection. Yet you're producing some of the worst defense in this league right now in terms of the run game. There have been multiple games where a guy on the opposing team has rushed for over 150 yards on us. Derrick Henry, Bijan Robinson, and Devon A-Chain. Embarrassing. You're like, why are you still employed? What are you standing on the sidelines for then? What are you calling on your mic then? Like, seriously, you can't just cough it up to injuries. That's no excuse. You have a defensive mindset approach, and you just don't do anything about it. Sean McDermott, man. I'm not going to say this is entirely his fault. I'm not going to say this is entirely Sean McDermott's fault. Because I come to the conclusion nowadays to say, hey, this is not McDermott's fault. He has to work with what he has. That being said, inexcusable. 13 seconds. 13 seconds was the tip of it. Where you are up 3 points with 30 seconds left. All you have to do is just get a stop. Run the clock down, get a stop. And then you let the Chiefs go all the way down to kick a field goal, send it to overtime. Inexcusable. You have a generational talent quarterback on your team. You're supposed to do everything as possibly humanly possible you can do to get this guy a Super Bowl, yet you have continuously underperformed when it matters the most. I praised you. Personally, I praised you. You deserve the most credit from last week against the Chiefs. And yeah, don't get me wrong, people are going to say, oh, it's regular season, all that stuff. But we were dominating the Chiefs in every aspect of the game. But then you just had this game where the defense looks like an absolute joke. I'm not going to say they played that bad in the first half, but in the second half was just inexcusable. Continuously playing guys that are just not as good as they used to be over guys that are just been sitting on the bench much younger than them and just probably can bring something else to the table over the guys that you say, hey, I trust these guys, so I'm going to play them more. AKA playing Tre'Davious White over Maxwell Harrison or Christian Benford. That's inexcusable. What are we doing here? The 4th and 17 against the Chiefs last week. The 4th and 17. Mahomes throws a long ball because Tre'Davious White was guarding Rashee Rice instead of putting Christian Benford or Maxwell Harrison on him. Maxwell Harrison is the rookie, and he's showcasing me right now that he has so much promise. But my issue is Sean McDermott's not going to acknowledge that, and he's just going to make cap Maxwell Harrison seal it until Maxwell gets traded to another team. But McDermott is not the all fault, the end all be all. The main problem I have with this team, and I think y'all are going to know what I'm talking about. If you guys don't know, follow me on social media. Brandon Beane is an absolute joke. He is the biggest jabroni I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, this guy is an absolute joke. He's an absolute joke. He really is. Because you were employed. You were employed to build a championship roster with this guy. This guy, number 17, drafted from Wyoming, where he's developed to being probably the best player in the league. And you have not even got to a Super Bowl appearance yet. And it's not like you guys have no chance. You guys have been close every single season. And you have not acknowledged that. You continuously employ the same guys over and over and over again. Whether that is coaching staff, head coach, coordinators, medical staff. You continuously employ these guys every single season. And it's just not working. Guys are constantly getting injured over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Every single season, a major player gets injured. You don't do anything about that. You continuously employ the same medical staff employees for this team when their formula of getting these guys as healthy as possibly they can be is just not working. Or those players are just super injury prone, but you don't do anything about those players. You keep them. Like, what are we doing here? It's so embarrassing that you're wasting this guy's talent, his years, with just doing nothing. Last season, when you traded Stephon Diggs, which I was on the board, that was a good decision. Get rid of him. Because that capped off Josh Allen as a leader. But you do nothing after that? You do absolutely nothing after that? Like, last season was literally saved your ass. I'm not going to lie. Last season actually saved your ass. Because that season, we exceeded expectations of getting to the AFC Championship game with the kind of roster we had. But we didn't win. And you don't know why we didn't win? It's because the defense is absolutely an atrocity in come playoff time. And the offense, guys, cannot create separation when Josh Allen has the ball in his hands. He has to literally scramble to get himself open. Just get a receiver open. Spare time to get a receiver open by scrambling back and down for like 10 seconds. Every game. That's where the Chiefs can just blitz Josh Allen every single time because no one can get open like that. They can run man coverage every single time because nobody can get open. It's such predictableness. And it's not because of these other guys. It's because of you. Because you do not do anything to improve the roster. We're going to look back after the season and say, hey, this is on you. You didn't make a single decision in the trade deadline. Look at the receiver cores right now. Khalil Shakir. Joshua Palmer. Terrell Shavers. Elijah Moore. Curtis Samuel. Keon Coleman. Do any of those guys are even able to create separation right now? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You passed on Xavier Worthy. You traded him. You passed on Jalen Waddle. You didn't even try to trade for him. You didn't try to trade for at least a guy that can just get separation for Josh Allen in the trade deadline. You did nothing. Because your head is in your ass because of what happened against the Chiefs last week. You said, hey, we're comfortable, everybody eats. We beat the Chiefs, so we're fine. We got absolutely mollywopped by a bad team because you didn't do anything in the trade deadline. You were asleep. And then you proceed to say on the press conference the next day, oh, it's really hard to do the job I have. It's really, really hard. Then what's the point of doing your job if you're not going to do anything? Why are you still employed? This guy's a joke, bro. He's starting to really aggravate me. That his decision making constantly every single season has not done anything to improve the roster. We had a quote unquote defensive offseason, yet we're one of the worst defensive teams in terms of running the ball. The run defense is terrible. This team's schedule is not going to get any easier, and guys are injured. It's so embarrassing. It's really embarrassing. It sucks that Bills fans have to pay tickets to watch this atrocity. It really is. Yeah, I know it's a divisional game. Yeah, you can't judge your record on a divisional game, but losing by that much is inexcusable. Having the offense with Josh Allen only scored 13 is inexcusable. Giving up 30 points to this team is inexcusable. Whether it's on the road or at home, inexcusable. Tampa Bay. That's going to be a close game. They should win that game, but I don't think they're going to win that game. If their roster is going to continue to be like this, they're going to continue to play like this. If Joe Brady is going to continue to have his head in his ass, I don't think they're going to win that game. The Texans, the best defensive team in the league, going to shut down Josh Allen. The receivers are not going to get open. The offense is going to cook on our defense because they're just going to run the ball. The Pittsburgh Steelers, Aaron Rodgers can turn the clock up, and we're not going to do anything about it because the defense is absolutely atrocity. The Bengals, Joe Burrow could be back. He quote-unquote owns us because we don't do anything. The Patriots, they look like probably the best team in the AFC right now. They definitely look better. They deserve to beat us. And they may beat us again in Foxborough. I could be wrong, but it's just looking like that right now. The Browns, okay, we should be able to beat the Browns, but even still then, we never know. Cold weather, seems a bunch of pussies, man. The Eagles, at home, we should be able to win that, but I don't know if we can. The Jets, divisional game. Who knows, man? That could be our very last game of the season. That could be our very last game of the season because this team is so unpredictable when it really matters. Because last season, I praised them for so many things. I called them, hey, they reclaimed their title as the best team in the AFC. Then they had this performance and it looked like an absolute joke. Being a Bills fan is tough. How is it that I have more joy watching the Miami Heat play football over these jabronis? How is it that? How is it that I have more joy watching the Miami Heat play basketball this season over these bums, over the Buffalo Bills, where the Bills have probably the most fun quarterbacks in the season right now, in the league right now, and he's not even playing that far in the season. He's made a few bunch of fun plays this game, but I was just not happy about it because we were down. And it's not because of his fault. It's because of this whole organization has not done anything to literally build the right championship roster around him. The Buffalo Bills have failed Josh Allen. They have failed Josh Allen. And I don't think he's ever going to win a championship with this roster and this organization if they don't take a look at themselves in the mirror and make cuts. Seriously. It's not a friendship. It's a business. No, come on, dude. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'm just so annoyed with the Bills right now. But yeah.